The discovery. The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly before Captain Zixtal's viewport, an inky canvas speckled with distant stars. His salvage vessel, the Scrapper's Fortune, drifted lazily through the cosmic debris field known as the Graveyard of Giants. For centuries, this remote sector had been the final resting place for derelict ships and space stations, drawing salvagers from across the galaxy in search of valuable technology and rare materials. Zixtal's three eyes blinked in rapid succession, a sign of growing frustration among his species. "Another disappointing haul," he muttered, his tentacles writhing beneath his environmental suit. "If we don't find something worthwhile soon, we'll barely break even on this expedition." His first mate, Vexilor, a lanky alien with iridescent scales, looked up from her console. "Captain, I'm detecting an anomalous energy signature at the edge of our scanning range. It's faint, but unlike anything I've seen before." Intrigued, Zixtal leaned forward. "Plot a course, Vexilor. Let's see what we've stumbled upon." As the Scrapper's Fortune maneuvered through the debris field, the crew's excitement grew. Twisted hull fragments and shattered solar arrays gave way to a clearing in the cosmic junkyard. And there, emerging from the shadows like a leviathan from the depths, loomed a ship of impossible proportions. "By the cosmic egg," Zixtal breathed, his voice barely a whisper. "What manner of vessel is that?" The ship before them defied description. It dwarfed the Scrapper's Fortune, stretching for kilometers in every direction. Its hull was a seamless expanse of matte black material that seemed to devour light itself. No visible seams or rivets marred its surface, as if the entire structure had been poured from a single mold. Vexilor's claws danced across her console. "Captain, the energy readings. They're off the charts. That ship is still powered, after who knows how long adrift out here." Zixtal felt a mixture of exhilaration and dread coiling in his stomachs. "Can you identify its origin? Any markings or design we recognize?" The first mate shook her head, her scales shifting colors in agitation. "Nothing in our database matches. But there's something. An engraving near what appears to be the main airlock. It's in no language I've ever seen." "On screen," Zixtal ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, zooming in on a section of the colossal ship's hull. There, etched in gleaming silver against the black backdrop, were symbols that sent a chill through every member of the salvage crew. "U.S. Nebulae Forge. United Earth Fleet." "Impossible," Vexilor whispered. "Humans. But they're just a myth. Stories to scare hatchlings." Zixtal's tentacles coiled tightly around his chair's armrests. "Myths don't build ships that make our most advanced dreadnoughts look like children's toys, Vexilor. If this truly is a human vessel, we may have stumbled upon the greatest discovery in galactic history." The captain's mind raced with the implications. Humans were spoken of in hushed whispers throughout the galaxy, a species of incredible ingenuity and terrifying potential, said to have vanished at the height of their power millennia ago. Some claimed they had transcended physical form. Others insisted they had destroyed themselves in a cataclysmic war. But all agreed on one thing: the technology they left behind was unparalleled. "Prepare a boarding party," Zixtal announced, his voice steady despite the tremor in his limbs. "Full environmental precautions. We have no idea what we might encounter aboard that ship." As the crew scrambled to prepare, Zixtal found himself drawn to the view screen, unable to tear his gaze from the massive vessel. A nagging voice in the back of his mind whispered that they were tampering with forces beyond their comprehension. But the allure of untold riches and technological marvels was too great to ignore. Little did the alien salvage crew know that their discovery was about to send shockwaves across the galaxy, awakening ancient powers and setting in motion a chain of events that would reshape the very fabric of interstellar civilization. The boarding shuttle detached from the Scrapper's Fortune with a gentle hiss, its maneuvering thrusters guiding it towards the hulking form of the Nebula Forge. Zixtal led the small team, consisting of Vexilor, their chief engineer Gruk, and security officer Lance. Each wore sealed environmental suits, weapons at the ready. As they approached the ancient human vessel, its sheer scale became even more apparent. What had seemed like smooth, featureless sections of hull from a distance revealed intricate patterns upon closer inspection. Microscopic etchings covered every surface, forming swirling designs that seemed to shift and move as they caught the light. "Grok, what do you make of this?" Zixtal asked, his voice tight with a mixture of awe and apprehension. The stocky engineer ran a scanner over the hull, his four arms working in perfect synchronization. It's not just decorative, Captain. These patterns, they're circuitry. The entire hull is one massive computer." Vexler's scales flickered rapidly, a sign of her growing unease. A ship that thinks, is that even possible? Before anyone could respond, a soft chime emanated from their suits. The massive airlock before them began to cycle open, revealing a cavernous docking bay beyond. "It's inviting us in," Lance growled, his quills bristling beneath his suit. "I don't like this, Captain. It feels like a trap." Zixtal hesitated for a moment, weighing the risks against the potential rewards. Finally, he made his decision. "We proceed, but with extreme caution. Weapons ready, but do not fire unless I give the order. We're here to salvage, not start a war with ghosts." The team guided their shuttle into the docking bay, setting down on a floor that gleamed as if newly polished. As they disembarked, lights flickered to life around them, illuminating a space that could have easily housed a small fleet of ships their size. "By the void," Vexler breathed. "Look at the state of this place. It's as if it was built yesterday, not thousands of years ago." Grok's scanner beeped insistently. "Captain, the air, it's breathable. Perfect atmospheric mix, no detectable pathogens or toxins." Zixtal considered this for a moment. "Keep your helmets on for now. We don't know what other surprises this ship might have in store for us." As they made their way deeper into the vessel, each step revealed new wonders. Doors slid open at their approach, revealing corridors that stretched for what seemed like kilometers. Holographic displays sprang to life, showing incomprehensible streams of data in the strange human script. "I've never seen technology like this," Grok muttered, his eyes wide behind his faceplate. "The power requirements alone, it's beyond anything our civilization has achieved." They reached what appeared to be a central command center, a vast circular room dominated by a holographic representation of the galaxy. As they entered, the stars began to move, tracing paths across millennia in a matter of seconds. Suddenly, a voice boomed from all around them, causing the alien crew to instinctively huddle together, weapons raised. "We LCOME visitors. I am Araya, Artificial Resonance Intelligence ASSISTANT of the USS Nebula Forge. Please state the nature of your presence aboard this vessel." Zixtal stepped forward, his heart's pounding. This was it, first contact with a legend. "I am Captain Zixtal of the salvage vessel Scrapper's Fortune. We discovered your ship adrift and came to investigate." There was a pause, during which the alien crew held their breath. Then, Araya spoke again, her tone noticeably warmer. "Greetings, Captain ZYXTAL. I apologize for the dramatic introduction. It has been quite some time since I last had visitors. Please, feel free to remove your helmets. The environment is perfectly safe, or your fate was as ideology." Exchanging nervous glances, the crew slowly unsealed their helmets. As they took their first breaths of the ship's air, they were struck by its crisp, clean quality. "RIA," Zixtal began cautiously, "may I ask, how long has it been since you last encountered other life forms?" The A's response sent chills down their spines. "By my CLTULHIs, ATHASBENAPPRO text I and ATELY 15,327 standard dialectic years, since in my last ciontate with non-humanity, he. Vexler's scales paled to a ghostly white. And the humans? Your creators? Aria's voice took on a somber tone. I'm afraid I have no data on the current status of humanity. My last records indicate a great cioneth but dets are unclear. Perhaps you can enlighten on the state of the galaxy. Zixtal felt the weight of history pressing down upon him. Here they stood, in the presence of a technological marvel beyond their wildest dreams, created by a species that had vanished eons ago. Whatever they did next would have profound implications for their own civilization, and perhaps the entire galaxy. Aria, he said, choosing his words carefully, we would be honored to share what we know. But first, I must ask, what is the purpose of this ship? Why has it remained hidden for so long? The holographic galaxy before them zoomed in on a particular sector, highlighting a string of star systems. The Nebula 4G was designated as a CE ship, Captain ZYXTAL. Our mission was to ensure the survival and security of humanity across the cosmos. Should Earth fail, we carry within us the knowledge, technology, and genetic legacy of an entire civilization. The implications hit Zixtal like a plasma blast. This wasn't just a derelict ship. It was the key to resurrecting one of the most advanced species the galaxy had ever known. The potential benefits were immeasurable, but so too were the dangers. As the alien crew stood in stunned silence, trying to process the magnitude of their discovery, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. Aria's voice took on an urgent tone. Alert. Multiple, unidentified vessels, approaching at high speed, hostile intent DTKCTED, initiating defensive protocols. Zixtal's blood ran cold. Someone else had found them, and they weren't here to salvage. As the Nebula Forge hummed to life around them, weapon systems charging and shields powering up, the captain realized that their discovery was about to plunge the galaxy into chaos. The legend of humanity was no longer just a myth. And now, the race was on to control their legacy. Echoes of the past. The command center of the U.S. and Nebula Forge thrummed with energy as ancient systems roared to life. Zixtal and his crew watched in awe as holographic displays materialized around them, showing the approaching threat in vivid detail. Aria, Zixtal called out, his tentacles writhing with anxiety. What are we dealing with? The A's voice resonated through the chamber. Sensors indicate a fleet of SAVNTEN vessels, varying in size and configuration. Energy signature is suggest they belong to TAEZDHR, a consortium, a criminal organization known for their SSIV acquisition of ADVANC technology. Vexler hissed, her scales shifting to a deep crimson. The Zorak. How did they find us so quickly? It doesn't matter. Grok interjected, his forearms working furiously over a control panel that had sprung to life at his touch. What matters is what we're going to do about it. This ship may be advanced, but it's been dormant for millennia. Can it really stand up to a modern attack fleet? Aria's response carried a hint of what could almost be described as amusement. Your CRN is understandable. Engineer GROK, but NNECESSARI. The Nebula 4G was designed to face 3Ts far beyond anything your CURRENTERA can minister. Observe. The holographic display zoomed out, showing the Nebula Forge in relation to the approaching Zorak fleet. Suddenly, points of light began to blossom around the human vessel, expanding rapidly into a complex geometric pattern. Deploying QUANTUM defense droid, Araya announced. This technology is localized distortions in spacetime, rendering conventional weapons ineffective. The alien crew watched in stunned silence as the first wave of Zorak missiles simply vanished upon contact with the shimmering barrier. The larger ships in the fleet opened fire with energy weapons, only for the beams to bend and twist, missing the nebula forge entirely. Zixtal felt a mixture of relief and terror. The ship's defenses were beyond anything he had ever imagined, but that only reinforced the danger of this technology falling into the wrong hands. "RIA," he said, his voice tight with urgency. "We need to get out of here. Can you pilot the ship to safety?" There was a momentary pause before the AI responded. "I'm afraid that's not possible, Captain ZYXTAL. The Nebulae 4G's primary propulsion systems were damaged inside the LED to our extended dormancy. While I can maintain our position and defenses indefinitely, we cannot leave as a location without EXTENSIV or repairs." Vexler's scales paled. "So we're trapped here, with a hostile fleet outside, and who knows what other threats on the way once word of this discovery spreads." Araya's tone became reassuring. "Nuct TRAPP'd. First, make VXLR. Me rely. Purises ENTDD than opportunity. The Nebulae 4G contains within it the means to repair itself and much more. But to access those systems, I require assistance, specifically human assistance." A stunned silence fell over the alien crew. It was Lance who finally spoke, his quills quivering with disbelief. "Human assistance, but they're gone, aren't they?" The holographic display shifted, zooming in on a specific section of the massive ship. "Not entirely, security officer Lance. Deep within the Forge's core lies a chamber contains thousands of human beings in cryogenic stasis. They are the seed from which humanity is meant to regrow, should Earth fall. And now, it seems, their time has come." The implications hit Zixtal like a gravitational shockwave. This wasn't just a derelict ship or a repository of advanced technology. It was an ark carrying the last remnants of a civilization that had once stood at the pinnacle of galactic power. Admiral Chen's expression hardened. "Then we need to send a message. Show them that humanity is not to be trifled with, that we're not some relic to be plundered." She turned to the AI. "AI, you said our most advanced weapons systems were locked down. With my authorization, can we bring them online?" "If we wake them," Zixtal said, his voice barely above a whisper, "everything changes. The balance of power in the galaxy, the future of technological development, the very course of history itself." Araya's voice took on a solemn tone. "You are curious, Captain ZYXTAL. The reawakening of humanity. While AKVPROFO UVNDCONS EQUNCs. But I must remind you of DEURGNCY of our situation. The ZHR fleet, while CURENTLY HELD at bay, will undo BTDLYCALO for reinforcements. We must ACT swiftly if we are to secure the forge and its inhabitants." Grok, who had been uncharacteristically quiet, suddenly spoke up. Wait a moment. Araya, you said you needed human assistance to fully reactivate the ship's systems. But you've been conversing with us, operating defenses. What exactly can't you do on your own? There was a pause, longer than any before. When Araya spoke again, there was a hint of something in her voice. Reluctance, shame. My core program mangi intiludes, see taten say guards, engineer grok. While I see an operate defensive systems and maintain life support, I am prevented from making decisions that could significantly alter the course of human history, such as awakening this elite PERS or REHC5 ATAng, our most ADVANC to weaponry. Those choices must be made by human uses and ESCs. Vexler's scales rippled with a mix of colors, reflecting her tumultuous emotions. So we're left with an impossible choice. Leave the humans in stasis, and we're sitting targets. Wake them up, and we potentially unleash a force that could dominate the galaxy. Zixtal felt the weight of the decision pressing down on him. He turned to his crew, seeing the fear, excitement, and uncertainty in their eyes. We need to think this through carefully. Araya, how many humans are in stasis, and what can you tell us about them? The holographic display shifted once more, showing a vast chamber filled with rows upon rows of sleek stasis pods. There are 10,000 humans in CRYOGNICSUSPN, Captain. They represent a section of Earth's population at the time of the TE Forge's Leon siege, including scientists, engineers, soldiers, artists, and leaders. Each was chosen for their skills, genetic diversity, and potential to rebuild human civilization. Lance growled, his security officer's instincts kicking in. 10,000 potentially hostile aliens, with technology far beyond our own. This is a disaster waiting to happen, or an opportunity beyond our wildest dreams, Grok countered, his eyes gleaming with the prospect of studying human tech. Think of what we could learn from them. As the crew argued, Zixtal found his gaze drawn to the holographic representation of the stasis chamber. These weren't just abstract numbers or potential threats. They were people, the last remnants of a civilization that had shaped the galaxy in ways still felt today. Araya, he said, cutting through the heated debate. If we were to wake them, how would they react? Would they see us as enemies, potential allies, or simply irrelevant in their grand plans? Araya's response was measured. ITANOTPUREDICTY CERTANTY. How DTAAWAKENED humans would re-seat, Captain. Their last memories would be of a JLXY at war, with humanity fighting for its survival. However, they were ALSOCHOZN for their adaptability and openness to any utility experiences. Much would depend on how they are approached and the information they are given upon awakening. Suddenly, the ship shuddered, and new alarms blared. Araya's voice took on an urgent tone. Alert. The ZHR AK fleet HASBENJYNED by reinforcements. They are attempting to besiege the EQUN2M defense GRAD through sheer force. While their efforts are ineffective, I cannot guarantee the grid's integrity indefinitely against sustained assault. Zixtal knew that time for debate had run out. He straightened himself, feeling the eyes of his crew upon him. We don't have a choice. We need to wake them. Not all 10,000 at once. That would be chaos. But a small group enough to reactivate the ship's systems and help us formulate a plan. Vexlor nodded, her scales settling into a determined blue. I agree, Captain. But we need to approach this carefully. First contact between our peoples and humanity. It could set the tone for millennia to come. In 1918, or EQUENC or 5 Primary Command STFF, Araya announced. Estimated time, 2 CIOUs as an ES, 15 minutes. ISUGG is to use this time to prepare your CLVs and to CONSIDR carefully how you will present the AQRANT situation. As the alien crew scrambled to make preparations, Sixtel felt a mix of terror and exhilaration. They were about to meet legends, to bridge a gap of 15,000 years, and potentially reshape the future of the galaxy. In the stasis chamber deep within the Nebula Forge, 5 pods began to hum with increased activity. Frost melted away from their surfaces, revealing the faces of their occupants. A diverse group, different genders, ethnicities, ages, but all bearing the unmistakable features of humanity. As the revival process neared completion, Sixtel and his crew gathered near the pods, their hearts racing. They were about to come face to face with living myths, with beings whose technology and history had shaped the very fabric of galactic civilization. The first pod hissed open, and a woman with dark skin and close-cropped hair sat up, her eyes snapping open. She took in the alien faces before her with remarkable calm, then spoke in a voice hoarse from millennia of disuse. Well, she said, a wry smile touching her lips, I suppose the neighborhoods changed a bit while we were asleep. Awakening giants. The command center of the U.S. and Nebula Forge crackled with tension as the 5 newly awakened humans faced the alien salvage crew. Despite the circumstances, both groups maintained a wary but civil demeanor, acutely aware of the historical significance of this moment. The dark-skinned woman who had first spoken introduced herself as Admiral Kira Chen, her voice growing stronger with each word. I am the commanding officer of this vessel. With me are Dr. Elias Reeves, our chief scientist, Major Sarah O'Connor, head of security, Engineer Raj Patel, and diplomat Aisha al-Rashid. Sixtel stepped forward, his tentacles curled tightly against his body in a gesture of respect. I am Captain Sixtel of the salvage vessel Scrapper's Fortune. We found your ship adrift and came to investigate. We had no idea we would be waking legends. Admiral Chen's eyebrow arched at the word legends, but she maintained her composure. I see we have much to discuss, Captain Sixtel. But first, Araya, status report. The I's voice filled the chamber. Well, see you, I'm back, Admiral Chen. As YOUVE undoubtedly noticed, Much HAS CHANGD. The Nebula 4G HAS BEN do or MANT for APPR OTXI and ATELY 15,327 standard galactic years. We are CURRENTLY under siege by a fleet belonging to an organization known as THEZHORAKTUNSORTUM. Our QUNTUM defense duality is holding, but we lack the capability to leave our QRRENT position due to damage sustained to our primary propulsion systems. The humans exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of shock, disbelief, and grim determination. Dr. Reeves, a lanky man with wild gray hair, was the first to speak. 15,000 years. The geological blink of an eye, yet for civilization. He trailed off, lost in thought. Major O'Connor, her red hair pulled back in a tight bun, focused on the immediate threat. This Jorak consortium, what are we dealing with? Numbers, capabilities, motivations. As ARIA began a detailed briefing on the current situation, Diplomat Al-Rashid approached Zixtal and his crew. Her warm brown eyes studied them with intense curiosity. While my colleagues focus on our tactical situation, I believe it's crucial we begin to bridge the gap between our peoples. Captain Zixtal, would you be willing to tell us about your civilization? How has the galaxy fared in our absence? Zixtal felt the weight of history pressing down upon him. How does one summarize 15,000 years of galactic development? He took a deep breath, choosing his words carefully. The galaxy is complex, Diplomat Al-Rashid. Hundreds of spacefaring civilizations, alliances and rivalries that shift like cosmic winds. But through it all, the shadow of humanity has loomed large. Seeing the confusion on the humans' faces, he elaborated. Your people became legend. Tales of your technological prowess, your indomitable spirit, your sudden disappearance. They shaped the development of countless species. Some saw you as saviors to be emulated, others as a cautionary tale of hubris. But all have been influenced by the legacy you left behind. Engineer Patel, who had been examining the Nebula Forge's systems with an expert eye, turned to join the conversation. And our technology. Surely in 15,000 years, the galaxy has advanced beyond what we achieved. Grok, unable to contain his excitement any longer, burst out. Advanced. By the void, what we've seen on this ship alone is centuries beyond our most cutting-edge research. Quantum defense grids, zero-point energy manipulation, computational systems that defy our understanding of physics. It's like something out of a fever dream. The humans absorbed this information with a mix of pride and concern. Admiral Chen's voice cut through the rising murmur of conversation. As fascinating as this cultural exchange is, we have more pressing matters. This ship was designed as humanity's failsafe, a seed from which we could rebuild should Earth fall. We need to know what became of our homeworld, of the colonies we left behind. A heavy silence fell over the command center. It was Vexler who finally spoke, her scales a somber gray. Earth is gone, Admiral. The details have been lost to time, but the generally accepted history is that your world fell in the final days of some great conflict. As for your colonies, some survived for a time, but without support from Earth, they gradually died out or were absorbed into other civilizations. The news hit the humans like a physical blow. Major O'Connor's hand clenched into a fist, while Dr. Reeves slumped against a console. Diplomat Al-Rashid closed her eyes, a single tear rolling down her cheek. Admiral Chen, however, remained outwardly stoic. We always knew this was a possibility. It's why the Nebula Forge was created. We are the legacy of Earth, the seeds of humanity's rebirth. And now, it seems, the time has come for us to fulfill our purpose. She turned to Zixtal, her gaze intense. Captain, I understand that our awakening puts you and your crew in a difficult position. You could not have anticipated finding yourselves in the middle of humanity's resurrection. But I hope you understand the importance of what's happening here. We need allies, people we can trust as we find our footing in this new galaxy. Are you willing to stand with us? Zixtal felt the weight of the decision pressing down upon him. Everything he'd ever known about galactic politics, about the balance of power between civilizations, was about to change. And yet, looking into the eyes of these humans, these living legends, he felt a sense of hope and possibility he hadn't experienced in years. Admiral Chen, he said, straightening to his full height, my crew and I pledged our lives to the pursuit of knowledge and the betterment of all sentient species when we became salvagers. If you'll have us, we would be honored to assist humanity in reclaiming its place among the stars. A ghost of a smile touched the Admiral's lips. Then let's get to work. We have a ship to repair, a hostile fleet to deal with, and a galaxy to reintroduce ourselves to. As humans and aliens alike turned their attention to the tasks at hand, none of them noticed the small, blinking light on a forgotten console. Deep within the Nebula Forge's communication systems, an ancient protocol had been triggered. A message launched into the depths of space, carrying news of humanity's awakening to recipients long thought lost. The galaxy held its breath, unaware that the balance of power was about to shift dramatically. Humanity had returned, and nothing would ever be the same. Echoes across the stars. As the unlikely alliance of humans and aliens worked feverishly to bring the Nebula Forge's systems back online, the ripples of their actions spread far beyond the confines of the ancient vessel. Across the galaxy, in hidden outposts and secret facilities, long-dormant sensors sparked to life, registering a signal they had been programmed to await for millennia. In a distant sector, on a planet shrouded in perpetual storms, a facility buried deep beneath the surface hummed with sudden activity. Robotic sentinels, their metal bodies etched with the faded insignia of Earth's long-lost military, emerged from stasis chambers. Their ancient processors struggled to comprehend the passage of time, but their primary directive remained clear: protect and serve humanity. Meanwhile, aboard the Nebula Forge, Admiral Chen stood before a holographic display of the ship's schematics, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Araya, what's the status on the propulsion systems?" The AI's voice resonated through the command center. "Repairs are assessing, Admiral. Engineer PATEL and GROK ADVMADD Sadigin IFICAN to be VRDK. Hugujias in integrating modern components with our existing technology. Is timed to parallel propulsion capability. CXHOURs. Major O'Connor, who had been coordinating with Lands to assess the Forge's defensive capabilities, interjected. "That may not be soon enough. The Zorak fleet has been joined by at least 3 other factions. They're not working together, but they're all trying to breach our defenses. The quantum grid is holding for now, but we're seeing energy spikes that suggest they're attempting to use dimensional phasing technology." Chen nodded, her expression somber. Sometimes a show of force is necessary to prevent greater violence. But this is just the beginning. We've announced our presence to the galaxy. Now we need to deal with the consequences. As if on cue, Araya's voice filled the command center. "Admiral, I'm DECTANG multiple incoming trainings and echelons. It APERs, NEWS of our REMERG and CELs spreading rapidly. Several major galactic powers are requesting communication." Diplomat Al-Rashid stepped forward, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. "This is our chance to reshape humanity's relationship with the galaxy, Admiral. How we handle these initial contacts could determine the course of interstellar politics for centuries to come." Chen turned to Zixtal and his crew. "Captain, your knowledge of the current galactic landscape is invaluable. We'll need your insight as we navigate these diplomatic waters." Zixtal straightened, feeling the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. "We're at your disposal, Admiral. Though I must warn you, the galaxy you've awakened to is a complex and often treacherous place. Not everyone will welcome humanity's return." As the command crew prepared for the diplomatic onslaught to come, Dr. Reeves approached Chen with a concerned expression. "Admiral, there's something else we need to discuss. I've been analyzing the long-range sensor data, and, well, I think you need to see this for yourself." He pulled up a holographic display, showing a sector of space far from their current position. Scattered across the map were dozens of pulsing red dots, each accompanied by a familiar signature. Chen's eyes widened as she realized the implications. "Are those?" Reeves nodded grimly. "Other Earth ships, Admiral. Dozens of them, maybe more, scattered across the galaxy. They're dormant, like we were, but our awakening seems to have triggered some kind of fail-safe protocol. They're coming online, one by one." The command center fell silent as the magnitude of the discovery sank in. Humanity hadn't just survived. It had a hidden armada waiting to be awakened. Major O'Connor was the first to speak, her voice tight with excitement and apprehension. This changes everything. We're not just a single ship trying to find our place in the galaxy. We're a scattered, sleeping giant about to rise. Admiral Chen's mind raced with the possibilities and dangers this development presented. The galaxy was already reeling from the awakening of a single Earth ship. How would it react to the knowledge that there were more out there, waiting to be found? We need to move quickly, she decided, her voice firm with resolve. Our priority is to locate and secure these other ships before someone else does. But we also need to establish peaceful contact with the major galactic powers, make our intentions clear. She turned to her diverse crew, humans freshly awakened from millennia of sleep, and aliens who had taken a leap of faith to stand beside them. I won't lie to you. The task ahead is monumental. We're about to reshape the face of galactic civilization. But if we stand together, if we hold true to the best ideals of humanity, and forge new bonds with the species of this era, we can build something truly remarkable. Zixtal felt a swell of emotion as he looked around the command center. When he'd first laid eyes on the Nebula Forge, he'd thought he'd found the salvage opportunity of a lifetime. Instead, he and his crew had become part of something far greater, the rebirth of a legend, and perhaps the dawn of a new age for the entire galaxy. As the Nebula Forge hummed with renewed purpose, its systems coming fully online for the first time in 15,000 years, the first tendrils of a message reached the far-flung Earth ships scattered across the cosmos. In hidden bases and forgotten outposts, ancient machines stirred to life. Stasis pods began their awakening sequences, rousing the best and brightest of a civilization long thought lost. Humanity had slumbered, but now it was time to rise. The galaxy would never be the same again. A new dawn. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Concordat buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from 100 species filled the tiered seats, their agitated whispers creating a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and rumbles. At the center of the chamber, a holographic projection displayed the Nebula Forge in all its awe-inspiring glory. High Chancellor Xylos, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate crystalline structure, called for order. Esteemed colleagues, their harmonic voice resonated through the chamber. We face an unprecedented situation. The humans, a species long thought lost to the ages, have returned. Their technological prowess, as demonstrated by the Nebula Forge, far exceeds our own. We must decide how to respond to this resurrection. The chamber erupted into chaos, with various factions arguing for approaches ranging from immediate military action to enthusiastic welcome. Amidst the furor, a small delegation made their way to the speaker's podium. Admiral Kira Chen, flanked by diplomat Aisha al-Rashid and Captain Zixtal. As they took their places, a hush fell over the assembly. For many, this was their first time seeing living, breathing humans. Chen stepped forward, her posture straight and proud, yet her expression open and conciliatory. Esteemed members of the Galactic Concordat, she began, her voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. I stand before you not as a conqueror or a threat, but as a representative of a people seeking to reconnect with a galaxy that has moved on without them. Humanity has awakened to find a vastly changed cosmos, one shaped by the very legends of our disappearance. She paused, letting her words sink in. We come with open hands and open minds. The technology we possess, the knowledge we carry. These are not weapons to be used against you, but tools to be shared for the betterment of all sentient life. A murmur rippled through the crowd. An avian being with iridescent feathers rose from their seat. Pretty words, Admiral. But how can we trust that humanity won't simply seek to dominate us, as so many rising powers have attempted in the past? Diplomat al-Rashid stepped forward, her calm demeanor a counterpoint to the tension in the room. An understandable concern. Honored representative. But consider this. Humanity has been given a rare gift. The chance to learn from history without being bound by it. We've seen the long-term consequences of our actions and inactions. The very fact that we stand here, seeking dialogue instead of asserting dominance, should speak to our intentions. The avian representative ruffled their feathers, not entirely convinced but willing to listen. Another delegate, a silicon-based life form, spoke up. What of the other human ships we've detected awakening across the galaxy? Are we to believe they all share your peaceful intentions? Admiral Chen nodded, acknowledging the valid concern. We are in the process of contacting and coordinating with all awakened Earth vessels. I give you my word, as an officer of the United Earth Fleet and as a human being, that we will ensure all of humanity's remnants understand and adhere to our commitment to peaceful coexistence. The debate raged on for hours, with Chen, Al-Rashid, and even Zixtal fielding questions and addressing concerns. Slowly, the mood in the chamber began to shift. The initial fear and suspicion gave way to cautious optimism, and even excitement at the possibilities this new situation presented. As the session neared its end, High Chancellor Xylos spoke again. We have heard much today, and there is still much to discuss. But I believe we can agree on this. The return of humanity represents not a threat, but an opportunity. An opportunity to learn, to grow, and to forge a new future together. The Chancellor's crystalline form pulsed with multicolored light. I propose the formation of a joint task force, composed of representatives from the Concordat and the awakened human ships. This group will oversee the integration of human technology and knowledge into our galactic community, ensuring that this transition benefits all sentient life. A wave of agreement swept through the chamber. Chen felt a weight lift from her shoulders. The first, crucial step had been taken. As the session adjourned, delegates swarmed around the human representatives, eager to make personal connections with these living legends. Later, in a quiet moment aboard the Nebula Forge, Chen stood before the ship's vast observation window, gazing out at the star-studded expanse. Captain Zixtal joined her, his tentacles swaying gently in thought. "You've done something remarkable today, Admiral," he said softly. "In all my years of salvage work, I've seen countless civilizations rise and fall, but never have I witnessed one return from the brink of oblivion and immediately seek peace." Chen smiled, though her eyes remained fixed on the stars. "We've been given a second chance, Captain. A chance to learn from the mistakes of our past and build something better. It won't be easy. There will be those who fear us, those who seek to use our technology for their own gain. But I believe that together, we can forge a future brighter than anything we could have imagined." As if in response to her words, a communication alert chimed softly. Aria's voice filled the room. "Admiral, we are receiving TRNSMISSONs from CVNT and more Earth vessels. TAYVE completed their AWAKE9 protoxiolas and REQUSTAing coordination." Chen straightened, a new fire in her eyes. "Patch them through, Aria. We have a lot of work to do." As the holographic displays came to life, filling the room with the faces of newly awakened human commanders, Chen felt a surge of hope. Humanity had slept for 15,000 years, but now they were awake, wiser, and ready to take their place in a galaxy that had become both stranger and more wondrous than they could have ever dreamed. The legend of humanity had come full circle. Once the stuff of myth and cautionary tales, they were now a living, breathing part of the galactic community. And together with the myriad species they had inspired, feared, and fascinated for millennia, they would write the next chapter in the grand cosmic story. As the Nebula Forge's engines hummed to life, preparing to take its place among the stars once more, the message spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Humanity has returned, not to conquer, but to connect. The age of isolation was over. A new era of cooperation, discovery, and shared destiny was about to begin. The universe, vast and ancient as it was, seemed to hold its breath in anticipation. For in the awakening of humanity, it had gained not just a lost child returned, but a bridge between what was and what could be. The journey ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges and marvels yet unimagined. But one thing was clear: the galaxy would never be the same again. And so, with hope in their hearts and the stars as their guide, humanity took its first steps into a future bright with possibility, ready to forge their legend anew.